President Trump announced his Supreme Court nomination, Judge Neil Gorsuch, who serves on the 10th Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals in Denver. Gorsuch is 49 years old, which makes him the youngest Supreme Court nominee in 25 years. Someone who, if confirmed, could be expected to be on the court for a quarter century or more. Gorsuch is, in fact, from Colorado, but he did spend a good bit of his life in Washington because he's the son of Ann Gorsuch, who was the first woman to head the EPA during the Reagan administration. One of the things Trump said when he announced his list of candidates was that he was going to nominate a justice very much in the mold of Scalia. And by some measures, including an academic study, Gorsuch is about as close as you can get. He very much embraces the same sort of originalist approach to the law that Scalia talked about, which means interpreting the Constitution and laws in the way in which the words were meant when they were written. Gorsuch has been a federal judge for a little more than 10 years, so he's developed a bit of a paper trail that will be used by both those who support him and those who probably will oppose his nomination. And so far, there's been a very stark partisan and ideological divide. Conservative groups and Republicans in Congress have basically been elated by this nomination, and Democrats in the main and the groups on the liberal side have been quite critical, with some already urging Democrats to filibuster or try to block this nomination. Lots of the pro-choice groups have been very critical of Gorsuch, and they say he will not support women's rights. His record on that as a judge on the 10th Circuit is rather sparse. But he did write a book about suicide and euthanasia, assisted suicide and euthanasia, in which he laid out a case which makes people on both sides of the issue think he might be inclined not to favor abortion rights. What's unclear at this point is whether the Democrats will try to block or filibuster the nomination. Already some Democratic senators have said they want Judge Gorsuch to have a hearing. And so it remains to be seen whether there will be the necessary 40 Democrats who unite to try to block the nomination. Now, some of the protest against the Gorsuch nomination is certainly based on perceptions of his record, but some of it, I think, is also based on how the Republicans in the Senate treated President Obama's nomination to fill this very same seat. Last year, President Obama nominated Judge Merrick Garland to fill the Scalia seat, but the Republicans who controlled the Senate then, as they do now, refused even to give Garland a hearing. And so that nomination didn't go anywhere, and it essentially expired when Obama left office. One other thing about Judge Gorsuch is that he has been skeptical of the power that federal agencies have to interpret laws and regulations. He thinks that that's a job that really belongs to Congress and then to the courts. So there might be some irony in that Trump may have nominated someone who could be asked to rule on some of his more controversial programs, whether it's an executive order relating to immigration or anything else, and he might have chosen a justice who is skeptical, at least to some degree, of the president's power in these situations.